not designed for high-speed rail. You would have to straighten the curves. I know a little bit about the railroad industry. You would have to straighten the curves, you'd have to redo the track, and you have a small problem. You have a slow freight, a fast-moving train, they got to get out of the way. If you look at a lot of the tracks throughout the United States, they only have one track, and they have sidings. This is why we have rail accidents every now and then. When you have one track that's used for north and south, this is true particularly, and it's been a concern for the security people in the United States, is that a lot of the rail service up and down the East Coast only has one line. You bomb that line, and we have no more rail service. Well, we don't have duplicate tracks.
Dedicated lines are necessary, double rail situations.
Now you got a land problem. You got to buy the land.
Condemnation rights, etc.
I agree with the man. He's right on. You should be in Tallahassee. Talk to him. I could get my vote. I'm all in favor of it. I've been in favor of it for years. I thought that high-speed mass transit was much better than sitting on 75 in a parking lot because some idiot had an accident because they were on their cell phone.
There is a point here. Florida was built on rail initially. Florida had barge, rail, and dirigibles that brought in materials to the bottom, to the Keys, and that's how this state was formed. And we've gone to highway, and now we have what is called a knot in a sock state. If you have a major hurricane, things shut down, and there's no escape. And the airlines are shut down, you're stuck.
That's
Wherever
correct.
the water goes, you better be able to bob to the top.
You are preaching to the choir. I've been in favor of this. I thought
I'm
the
being a little
entire
more
country
specific.
should
That's what
have.
I'm doing.
I did some work. We used to have a National Rail Corporation because I was pushing, and I did the reservation system for passenger rail in the United States. I used to be working for companies like Bell Labs. You may have heard of them. They really don't exist anymore for all practical purposes. But we used to do some very nice, innovative work. We have a couple of bottlenecks. First of all, our rail transportation system, ladies, close your ears, it sucks, okay? We are so far behind, not just the Chinese. If I want, my brother lives in France, if I want to go from Nice to Paris, I can take a high-speed rail.
6 hours. I've done it.
We have nothing like that. If you've ridden the passenger rails in this country, Amtrak accepted, well, it's not even called Amtrak anymore. If you ride as I used to do regularly, the Boston to Washington, D.C. corridor, which was, quote, a high speed, which doesn't go over 60 miles an hour.
That's the Acela you're talking
Yeah,
about.
the Acela, yeah, it goes up to 125.
Not really, they really
No,
can't.
right.
Yes, it's capable of doing that. There was an article in the New York Times the other day, you know what the high speed they managed to do? 65 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The rail from Chicago to St. Louis is currently, the gates are up, the rail is straightened out, it's in place under the stimulus for Illinois. It will do almost 200 miles an hour, as long as they don't have to deal with the freight trains. That is the stumbling block.
That's the
So
stumbling
the
block.
dedicated second line is your problem. And I think the point of this whole issue is, we can talk all day long about the overview, about the future, etc. But here is something that people could really get after.
If you drive in Orlando, which I did when I gave a talk up there a few weeks ago, there's a couple of big billboards that I passed that point out the employment that would occur if they would start building the high-speed rail. Now, remember, President Obama came to Florida, came to Tampa, with a check for, I think it was $2.5 billion to help out the rail. That's half the price tag. We have to come up with the other half. If you think Mr. Buchanan is going to work in that direction, you got another think coming. Okay.
One question, one more.
I'd like to know something beside the railroad about how we keep all our industry from leaving the United States. How do we get rid of NAFTA? I think that's a more basic problem because that covers all industry.
We don't have enough time for me to answer the question. It's a fairly complex question. Let me point out a couple of factors, and you can come down to my office and spend all day going over them if you want. The issue is, what is this country best at doing. I hate to tell you this because most of you may have come from the environment that I grew up in where the country was built on a couple of things. It was built on Levitt homes. Remember those? Levitt homes? It was built on the automobile manufacturing industry that created a middle class. We had, well, suburbs resulted from the unions and the automobile manufacturers. Now, why were they able to do this? When General Motors, when I was growing up, General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford had roughly 80% of the automotive market. They knew each company had a certain portion of that. They knew regardless, there was a demand for X number of cars. They had 80% of that. It would be split up. It wasn't a illegal monopoly type thing. They knew General Motors had the biggest share. Ford had the next biggest share. Chrysler had the next biggest share. They knew from history how much they were going to sell. The unions came to them and said, look, we want X number of dollars. They said, fine. You want these benefits? Fine. What we will do is we will just adjust the price of the car accordingly, and the American consumer would buy it. When I was growing up, when you bought a car, it was a big deal. The whole neighborhood came out to see your brand new car. And then we moved to 2 cars. Some families had 2 cars. Boy, they were really in high cotton. Now, every 16-year-old wants a car. So, but we have international trade, we have exchange rates, we have a global economy. This economy of the United States is not a manufacturing economy. Some jobs are coming back to the United States. Why are they coming back? Because labor rates abroad, combined with the exchange rates, make it more economical. For example, Dell Computer brought most of their computer support back to the United States. It was cheaper than paying the people in India. Jobs will move just like dollars will move, capital will move to where it has the best home. We need to improve our home here. If we would do things that are competitive with world prices, the difficulty we have is that we as a generation, particularly this generation, expects to have a certain benefit paid to them in terms of retirement, in terms of health insurance, in terms of days off, and what have you. Now, if you look at companies like France or Denmark or many in Italy, Greece, they are more socialistic. You are guaranteed, in England, you're guaranteed, I think it's 2 months vacation. Guaranteed. You're guaranteed certain days off for this, you're guaranteed that, but I don't think I would want to live in their economy. If you price out the price of homes in London, I know you don't want to live there. I happen to like London very much, my next favorite city after what?
Could you introduce us to the speaker now that he's earned the right to remember his name? I didn't catch the introduction.
Oh, me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Lauren Rudd.
Yeah.
If you want to see what I write about, open up tomorrow's paper in the business section, Herald Tribune. You'll see my column. You'll see my email address and my phone number. You can call me up or you can send me hate mail or compliments, whatever you desire. I get both. I've been a columnist for 22 years. I've been on Wall Street for 45 years. I'm second generation in the business, and now I donate approximately 70% of my time to the general public. I think I'm done.
Okay.